Hey guys, Charlie Murphy here. Thanks for choosing my video. Playing a session of 1-2 no limit 6 max games on Bovada. Got the games up and running, so I'll jump right into the action. Table 3, get a middle position open. I am in the big blind with 10-9 suited. It's a very fine hand to defend. I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet here. I actually didn't realize this guy had raised behind me. This could actually be a cold 4-bet or fold situation, and 10-9 suited will be a fold. I was going to 3-bet from 3 to 12 with that hand if the small blind did not. Table 4, open king, queen suited under the gun. Get a suspected recreational player here on table 3, open limp, so I'm going to complete my small blind with ace 4. Table 4, the in position player calls. He's been a little bit weird thus far. I'm going to go ahead and check to him on the 10-8-7 rainbow board. I do have overcards, backdoor flush draw. Can possibly continue against some stabs. Against that bigger stab, about 3/4, I'm just going to go ahead and check fold. He bet small or maybe even half pot. I think I could float there once, but I think I'll just check fold against that size on that board. Table 3, it limps around my weak top, checks around rather my weak top pair. Turn is the 4, giving me 2 pair. I'm going to start value betting here now. Probably start bluffing pretty heavily too with this guy not showing too much action on the flop. Fish limping, this guy big blind, both have very wide weak ranges. River is the queen, does, I guess, doesn't really make many 2-pair that beat me. Hard to give him credit for a hand like ace-queen on that board. I guess you could have jack-10 for the nut straight. That's the only hand I'm really worried about here. Obviously want to go ahead and try to get some more value out of my decent 2-pair. And value bet a lot thinner than that there, happily. He had queen 10, so he floated me with the gut shot, then he called the river second pair. I don't hate it. I think it's reasonable. Table 4, a short stack min opens in the cutoff. I think I can go ahead and go after him here. It's kind of close, but I'm going to do it with my suited broadways. This one's kind of right on the cusp, but I think it's going to be okay. Get an ace, king, king, two-tone board, giving me the nut flush draw and the gut shot. Gonna go ahead and just bet small. Quarter pot, jam the turn. If he floats, he makes me put the money in. He makes me put the money in. Got top pair, but I'm very, very live with my draw. None of them get there. Don't outrun him, but pretty close to 50-50 equity on that board there with the hand I had. So don't mind getting it in. Very happy to pick it up with the small bet the times he's got. Since then just has to fold the flop. Table 1, cutoff opens for the minimum. A short stack small blind player calls. I'll call the big blind, closing the action with pocket fours, looking for that third 4. Don't get it. Get a 9-8-7 two-tone board. Planning to check fold the flop here if the cutoff player continuation bets. Checks around, turn is a board pairing 7. The small blind player leads, pretty large size, 4 into 5.7. I'll go ahead and fold my underpair versus that. Then open from the cutoff on table 3. I'm in the big blind with king 9. Gonna go ahead and defend for a call. A 5-4 deuce rainbow board. Plenty to check fold here. Table 1, gonna open 8s blind on blind. Table 3 continuation, but it's pretty healthy size, 3 into 4 and a quarter. Just go ahead and check fold my raggy king high. Table 1, open an ace 9 from the button. Table 3, gonna open king 10 suited in a blind battle. Table 4, recreational player open limps the button. I'll check my big blind with 5 deuce suited. Planning to check fold this king 7-3 rainbow flop. Checks through, turns the ace of clubs, gives me a gutch, and I'm going to go ahead and just start trying to bluff the wreck here. You can have lots of ace-x, but you can have all kinds of air balls that fold, and I do have equity backing me up. I think betting there is much better than check folding, check calling, or check raising. Table 3, my blind battle open gets re-raised. Pops me up slightly larger than usual from 3 to 10. Can still defend my suited Broadway cards even with the slight size up, so I'm taking a flop with king 10 of spades. Pretty good flop for me. Jack 8-5 two-tone, giving me the second nut flush draw and overcards, some backdoor straight draws. He checks back, turn is a board pairing 8 that also closes the flush, giving me the second nut flush draw on a paired board. I am going to go ahead and start betting for value here now. Let's see, what size do I want to use? I think a 3-bet pot, I'm supposed to use a smaller size on flush closers. Half pot here and decide the river. Table 4, going to open 8-6 suited from the cutoff. I'm on the cusp. We've got at least one weak player in the blinds, if not two. They both call me. Get a king 4-3 two-tone or rainbow board. I've got some backdoor draws, and that's about it. I'll check this one back. I get called on the blind battle there. We get a fairly blank card in 9. I'm going to go ahead and bet again for value. I think with a little more than 2x pot, I just want to go ahead and jam, especially in a blind battle, try to get hero called. Face a lead from the big blind player on table 4. I've got no real equity. Just go ahead and fold. Table 2, I open ace-jack suited in middle position. The button 3-bets me. Pretty large size, a little larger than I typically use, but I can still have some calls against that, and ace-jack suited is going to be one of the better calls available to me. So go ahead and I'll call that. We've got hands on every board here. All 4 tables. Opening king-jack suited on 4, re-raising king-queen from the button against the middle position open on 3. Table 4, I flop a gut shot, queen 9-3 against the wreck. Going to go ahead and continuation bet him small. Turn a flush draw to go with my overcard and my gut shot on table 4. I'm going to go ahead and continue barreling. Not going to overbet against the wreck and play a lot more face up because they don't really figure out what's going on. So I'll just use a more standard 3/4 type size. Table 2, I got top pair on the nut flush draw and ace jack 10. Going to go ahead and check call that small bet. He folded out looking for his low end of the gut shot, which would have made me the nut gut shot. It's a shame we didn't get that card to get a chance to do him dirty, but we didn't. All good. Pick up the pot. Not complaining about picking up a pot with king high. Table 3, open up jacks in middle position. The table 1, opening jack 9 from the button. Table 4, going to check and see if he bluffs. Just try to bluff catch here. Don't think I'm going to get him to bluff all that much, but also don't think I'm going to get called by tons of worse hands all that much. He checked back a weaker ace. Maybe I screwed up there and didn't value bet him there. I think that might have been a mistake now that I think about it. Little too much going on at once, perhaps making some suboptimal decisions, even with only 4 tables. My age is catching up to me, I suppose. Table 1, opening 10-9 suited in the cutoff. Get an open from the middle position player on table 4. He's not quite a rec and not quite a reg. He's not playing totally fishy, but he is taking some weird sizes and lines. So I am going to go ahead and 3-bet King Jack suited against him, regardless of if he's a rec or a reg here in this spot anyway. I'll go ahead and put my re-raise in. I'll pick up that pot pre-flop. I want to see what's going on here. As he flatted the cutoff, then back raised a squeeze from the small blind player, who I have marked as a wreck. I think it was because he was buying in a little bit short. Stats don't seem totally fishy, not cold calling a lot pre-flop. We want to see how this one plays out. Table 2, opening King 9 on the cutoff, slightly loose, but with the weak player in the pot still to act. I'm okay opening a little bit wider. Not going to get 3-bet off my hand as much. Going to have guys that make bigger mistakes post-flop if they go to the flop with me. I think that's okay. When the small blind re-raised me, they'll just go ahead and fold the weak open. Back raise with King Queen offsuit. I don't think that's a very good play. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. He called with Ace 9 suited, so some weirdo shit going on there. Table 1, gonna open under the gun. The small blind player on 30 blinds makes a small 3-bet. I cannot continue Ace Jack offsuit here in that situation any longer. Was going to obviously defend it for a call prior to this weird small blind action. Table 4, opening 3s under the gun. Table 2, the button opens. I'm in the big blind with Ace 3 offsuit. That one's kind of on the cusp. I think I'll fold it, but it'd be okay to defend it too. I think it's very close. This guy was making some weird cold calls on odd spots. I had him as kind of fishy. My 3s from under the gun face a 3-bet in a pretty decent size. I don't like defending all my pairs in this very tight formation, especially against the size up. I'll go ahead and fold the 3s. I think it's probably reasonably close. Table 2, opening 8-10 suited, blind down blind. I'll check to the recreational player on the King Queen 4 board. Turn is a board pairing 4, putting a backdoor flush draw. I'm just going to go ahead and start bluffing air balls into this guy now rather than check fold. However, when I face a raise and I've got no equity, I'll just get out of the way and let him have that one. Table 1, player is playing kind of weird, opens the cutoff. I 3-bet my small blind with Ace-King suited. He goes ahead and 4-bets me. Nothing to do here, but just jam over the top all in. It's 4-betting too large, 4-betting too much. Just makes my ships so profitable. Just pick up 30 blinds right there. in a spot where I'm comfortable he's doing that. With way too many hands, he's way out of whack. But his loss is my gain, I suppose. Table 4, recreational player limps. Unknown player limps behind. Small blind completes. I get into the pot for free on my big blind with 3 deuce offsuit, the flop bottom pair, and a gut shot on ace 4 3 two-tone. Imposition player stabs 3 into 380. Well, there's that much value in this hand here, actually. I'm just going to go ahead and fold it. Open king 10 from the button on table 1. Table 3, recreation player open limps. I'll complete my small blind with 10-8. Try to get another cheap flop. Get a 7-5-4 two-tone board. Decent little piece there. Gut shot to a 4-liner and a couple overcards. Checks around. Turn is the 4 of spades. I do have the 10 of spades in my hand. I'm going to go ahead and start semi-bluffing here into 2 players. No one's shown any real desire for this pot as of yet. The big blind player calls, as does the as does the open limper. River is a board tripping card, another 4. I'm going to go ahead and follow through with my bluff. I'm just going to mash the pot button and see if they have a piece they can call with. Without a pair, they both quickly fold. The worst hand becomes the best hand as everyone else hits the muck. Table 2, blind on blind, opening king jack. Don't even have the words all the way out of my mouth, and the guy is folded, and I pick up the pot. Table 3 open, King 9 in the cutoff. Pretty reasonable open, especially with a poor player that's playing pretty much every hand in the blinds. Comes along and calls. Folds, we go to the flop heads up. Getting Jack 7-4 rainbow board. He's shorter now, so I'm not just going to range bet him anymore. I'm going to go ahead and check this one back, and should he show further weakness, I'm just going to start bluffing off now. If he doesn't show weakness, he mashes pot. If I had showdown value, I'd be letting him get into that line of blast off into me, and if he were to check, I would start blasting with my hands that are weak and take advantage of him having too many weak hands. But when he leads, especially leads big, he leads small, I can think about floating or bluff raising, weird stuff like that in that line. But when he leads big, I'm going to give him some more credit until I see that he does that all the time. Table 4, blind on blind, open an ace queen. Big blind calls, got a 7-5-3 two-tone board, no relevant suit in my hand. Gonna go ahead and just check to the big blind player. That board is much better for him than for me. Turn is an offsuit jack. I've got pretty decent removal to the jack. I don't know I get to check this hand down much. I think I can even fold out weak pairs with a couple of barrels here. We'll go ahead and just start bluffing it now. Seems kind of strong to bluff a strong ace high there in a blind battle, but I think it's okay. It's probably pretty close. Table 1, open ace queen in the cutoff. Big blind comes along, get a jack 8-7 rainbow board. He checks to me, I'll go ahead and continuation bet small. Couple overcards, a king is a good gut shot to barrel. I'm like a 10 or even a 9 is a little bit more curious. Not sure what I want to do on those. A 4 of hearts. I've got overcards, but I don't really have relevant blockers to the straight draws or possible straights. Do I blast here? I think I'll check this one back. Try to play a smaller pot if I hit an ace or a queen. Kind of overplaying to triple off with what equity I do have there on my overcards. Only one overcard. If I had a hand like, not even sure of a good example. Something with like a 9 or a 10 would be more inclined to start putting in the barrel line here. I think ace queen I can go ahead and just put in the check back line and consider reopening the river as a bluff if he checks again in a blank. Value betting if I hit a pair, bluff catching if I hit a pair. Table 4, open ace queen in the button. Sorry, under the gun, not the button. Table 4, blind on blind, opening the king 9. Get called, get an ace king 7 two-tone board. I'll check to the imposition player here, planning to check call with my second pair. Good card for me, the 9 on the turn, giving me sort of a weak 2 pair, second and third pair. I'm going to go ahead and I start betting those at this point, right? I'm trying to think. I think I can have overbets in this line to punish things like ace 4 that check back. River is the 5. I'm going to go ahead and try to get another street of value from weak ace. This feels a little thin, but I think it's pretty good. My plan works. No, I get very happy when I have a plan, execute the plan, and the plan works. Got called by Ace Jack, which I don't necessarily think calls an overbet. I think overbetting there is overplaying my hand when it's pretty low down the ranking of, two pairs. All those ace-x two pairs are out there, both in my range and largely in his range. Table 4, opening ace-6 from the button. Table 4, open king-9 from the cutoff. Going after suspected weaker players in the blinds here primarily. Button 3 bets me, however, so I'll just go ahead and surrender that one. Pocket kings on table 4 in middle position. Open that one up. Gonna bring in Jack 10 suited under the gun on table 3 as well. I get 3 bet here. We're slightly deep, 130 blinds deep, but not so much that it's going to make a big difference. Let's see, what size do I want to use here now that he has gone a little bit bigger than is typical? Go about 25 here with the pocket kings. I think I would still stack off queens, kings, aces, ace, king here for 4 betting. Been a little passive with 3 bets over 64 hands. 2 3 bets out of 27 opportunities. I don't know that means a whole lot. That in conjunction with being slightly deeper might be able to stack off slightly lighter, but I don't know it's enough to actually change what I'm doing in practice in that spot. Table 2, cutoff opens. I'm in the big blind with king 9 suited. Going to go ahead and re-raise there. Kind of a weird, weak, nitty side type player opens what's effectively the cutoff for 3x. I'm in the big blind with ace 3 suited. Going to go ahead and defend that one. Up the nut flush draw, Jack 10-10 two-tone. Table 3, recreational player, 33 blinds deep, open limp, so I'll raise up out of my blind with the pocket 8s. Calls me, get a 5-5-2 two-tone bargain, a continuation, bet that and try to get it in. Table 4, gonna 3-bet my button against the cutoff open with king, queen suited. Table 1, turning the nut flush draw on that 9 of hearts, gonna go ahead and put out a value bet. Plan to value bet the river. Calls me. River is an offsuit 3. Okay. I obviously want to value bet here. I don't think I want to try to check raise. I think check raising should be reserved for stronger hands like actual full houses here. Question is, what bet size do I use if I bet? I think I'll overbet it. Getting a raise sucks. I can probably safely fold to a raise if he actually jams over the top. Table 4, my ace-10 suited gets re-raised by the small blind. Go ahead and defend that for a call. One's a little bit loose to re-raise. Get a king 10 deuce rainbow board. I've got second pair. Gonna go ahead and defend for a call there with second pair, top kicker, backdoor flush draw. I get raised here by this in position player. I've got to be a little bit worried about full houses. I just have to wonder, can he do this with weaker flushes? I think I've got a call, since he doesn't jam, but I don't like it at all. This is like very, very neutral. I think I can go ahead and fold it kind of close, but well, I block ace king. I block ace king. I block aces. Very, very close spot. Yeah, it's a silly play. Table four, opening ace king in middle position. Short stack recreational player calls, getting 933 two-tone voice. Go ahead and sort of check back against a shorter stack here with showdown value. Pretty good turn card for me. The King of Diamonds giving me top pair, top kicker. No flush draw or flush blocker. He blasts into me for pot, which usually signifies strength, but he could be doing that with worse kings, first of all. Given that I dominate value, I'm not that worried about the size up. River is a 9, pairing the board twice, but I do have the top pair, top kicker. He checks to me. Now the question is, do I try to get value from a weaker king? I guess he can have lots of 9x, 3x, or flushes. I think I just checked this one down. Weaker king, but I think checking is fairly prudent on that card. Middle position opens table 3. I'm going to cut off with ace king. Going to go ahead and 3-bet that one. Table 1, open queen jack in the cutoff. Table 4, opening ace 9 suited on the button. Min open from what is effectively the cutoff here against that weird player that just did me dirty on the nut flush versus full house hand a few minutes ago. We've got pocket nines. And this guy's a little on the tight side. I think I'm just going to go ahead and take a flop for a call here. Treat him like he's a little bit tighter than the average bear. Get an ace jack 6 rainbow board. I think I can check call reasonable bets at least once. Probably not going to put a ton of money in here. However, when he bets about 3/4, 3 into 4 1/4, I'm just going to go ahead and lay the nines down. Perhaps a straight earlier. This guy seems to be trending towards the nitty side. He's sizing up on the flop. Unless I'm going to bank that third 9. I don't know that I'm going to get to showdown and be good at showdown often enough to justify hanging around. Fishy player opens full pot, 3.5 open. I will defend my big blind with the pocket pairs here, even pocket deuces. Gonna go ahead and take that flop. Jack 6-3, two-tone, no relevant suit in my hand. I'm just gonna be folding this for the most part. He goes ahead and I don't really know that I fold out many pairs by betting here. I'm just gonna check and see if I can actually get towards showdown. Take one more try at it. My deuce is still played. The board didn't double pair. Table 1, middle position player opens. I had him tagged as a wreck, but maybe that's not entirely fair. 3-bet him from the button with ace-queen offsuit. He calls, got a jack 10-6 monotone board. I got 2 overcards, a gut shot, and the relevant nut flush draw and blocker in my hand. I'm gonna start betting this one. Continuation bet small. Turn is the jack. That is an interesting card in that now I don't think I'm really gonna bully jacks off this pot nearly as easily. I guess the barrel line is for hands like pocket eights with the club that get kind of sticky and aren't in great shape against my ace of clubs either way. I think I actually want to check this back on that paired board and be a bit more cautious here, especially since I can also call down bluffs if I hit the ace or queen on the river. Check that one back. I do hit the ace on the river. So I've got top pair, second kicker, although trips are possible. Now he leads into me overbetting. I think that's probably a very easy fold. Table 4 opened ace jack for middle position. Table 2 I opened ace 5 on the button. I'm gonna continuation bet queen 8-6 rainbow. And queen got there too. I don't know that monotone boards are being bluffed all that heavy. I'm letting that one go. I'm gonna make kind of a snug fold there. Table 4, button min opens. I'm in the big blind with queen jack suited. Gonna go ahead and 3-bet that. Was going to isolate the limper on table 4, but the cutoff player beat me to it with a very large 10x ISO. I'm seeing some more of these absurdly sized ISOs. I don't know what to make of them quite yet if they're doing it very face up with a premium type range. So if they're doing that very, very large with a more typical ISO range, you're very exposed to people re-raising your ISOs. Just not sure how much of it matters. That's some newer stuff I'm seeing a bit more of more recently. Table 3 under the gun opens. I 3-bet my small blind with king queen suited. Pick that one up. 3x open from the cutoff over here on table 1. I've got ace-9 in the button. Not really a defend, and I'm already a bit suspicious that guy's on the nitty side. Large open from the recreational player playing about 65 blinds deep over here. I've got ace-king. I'm going to want to raise this up and get it in. Just thinking, how wide do I re-raise? What range am I playing here entirely against this guy right now? He instantly clicks it back. I've got ace-king. Like, if that means you have aces, I mean, congratulations, sir. We're 70 blinds deep. I've got ace-king. You're a fish. Like, money's going in. Ace-queen. Ah, but he outflops me. All in the game. Table 3, under the gun opens. I 3-bet middle position with king-queen suited. That's why you don't get too overthinking about what these stupid little goofy min raises mean. You've got ace-king with 70 blinds. The money's going in the middle unless you flick your hand face up and show me kings plus. Opening queen deuce suited in the button on table 2. He's hit and running me too. I face a cold 4-bet. Looks like a full pot cold 4-bet over here in what's a very tight formation. Very interesting. I don't think I can really be calling with hands like king queen suited against that super large sizing in this super tight formation. I will lay it down. Opening 9-7 suited from the button on table 2. Opening king 10 suited from middle position on table 3. Both those tables about to be donezo. Recreational player open limps. I'm going to isolate my button with king 8 suited on table 4. My ISO raise gets 3 bets. Go ahead and muck the king 8. King 8 suited. Pool's drying up a little bit, it looks like. Put some $50 games in there just to fill out in the meantime. Table 3, opening King 10 suited in middle position. Table 4, Rec open limps. I'll complete the small blind with Ace 4. Got a squeeze opportunity over here on table 1. I'm going to go ahead and put in the squeeze out of the small blind against the cutoff with Ace 4 suited. Table 4, the Rec stabs pot on Ace 8 3 two-tone. Go ahead and check call with my weak top pair. Turn is a 5, giving me a gut shot to go with it as well. Flush closing board pairing card. I think I just want to check this one out. That one figured value from an 8. Just want to try to show down good here. Hit 4-bet. I think this might be a little bit out of line to be jamming over the top, so I'll go ahead and fold that one. Table 2, opening Queen 5 suited on the button. Table 2, opening Jackson cutoff. My jacks get squeezed. I can actually 4-bet and call off jacks here in this particular formation, so I'm going to go ahead and plan on doing exactly that. Not really going to have much in the way of cold calls here, sandwiched between another cold calling player that would have position on me post-flop. Getting jacks plus ace king to call off here, and then some hands like ace queen and some suited Broadway cards. Ace queen, ace jack, king queen, king jack type hands. Calls the 4-bet, go to the flop. Pretty good flop for jacks. Jack or 9-5-4 two-tone. A jack flop would obviously be about as good as it gets. Go ahead and continuation bet. I think I just plan to go with this here if he raises me. Deuce of diamonds on the turn. I think I just jam this in at this point. Well, I'm in position also where it's less important. I don't know, checking just seems real bad without a diamond in my hand here. Gonna jam it in. Recreational player opens 3 extra middle position. I'll 3-bet him aggressively because he's a weak player, including all my suited Broadways here. Don't love that I get jammed all over the top, but calling 5 into 32 from that short stack is a trivial decision, so we'll make it, and I'm racing against pocket nines. Not that bad an outcome. I spike my 10 on the turn, holds up on the river, and I win the race. Table 2, open queen 10 on the button. Table 2, new 30 blind player, open post, so I'll isolate from the cutoff with queen 9 suited. ISO gets 3-bet from 3 to 10 on table 2. Queen 9 suited, going to be a little bit too loose to defend the re-raise, so go ahead and just fold that. Table 1, limped pot. I checked in with 8-3, checks around on king 8-6, turn is a queen. I'll keep checking my marginal short on value, not really trying to get value from a lot of worse, certainly not trying to fold out much better. Gets all the way to the river. I've got third pair on that board pairing flush closing king. I think there's merit in just checking and hoping he stabs with bullshit as opposed to hoping he has a 6 and calls me. I think betting's awful on the thin side, but he can have all kinds of air balls that decide they should stab here. Especially the paired board that recreation players love to bluff. I don't think he's going to reopen the river after checking all the way down all that often, but I think there's more value in that or just checking down good than there is against trying to get real thin value there. And he had 5 high, 5-3 offsuit. He really should have stabbed that at some point. Table 4, open 6s on the button. Big blind calls, get an ace, king 8 rainbow board. A continuation bet small, planning to check back any turn except the 6, giving me trip 6s. We don't get that far as he folds to my flop bet and I pick up the pot early. Got a new player posting a blind out of early over here on table 3. Gonna open Jack 10 suited under the gun. Make a little bit bigger open with that extra dead money out there. Couple of whales call me on the button and the small blind. Get an 8-5 deuce two-tone board. I've got overcards, backdoor flush draws, some backdoor straight draws. I'm gonna check this one. Checks around. Turn is an ace of diamonds. And I get led into by the small blind player, 8 into 10.5. I'll just go ahead and fold now without a whole lot going on for this hand. Table 1 to open ace-8 from the button. Big blind calls and leads into me for a little over half pot on 5-3 deuce rainbow. I think I can fold that one against that size. Under the gun opens on table 1. Short stack player calls in position. Small blind calls as well. Suspected rep when he's limped at low. He may have been limping behind other fishy players. Either way, I've got ace queen suited, and I'm going to be putting in the squeeze here. Calling off if the short stack jams over the top also. Calling against the RFI player under the gun if he jams with queens plus ace king. Table 1 open ace 10 in the cutoff. Table 4 open deuces under the gun. Called by suspected wreck on table 1. He's donked into me. I could have king at 7-6 rainbow board. I'll continuation bet here. Get 3-bet in position over here on table 4. Standard size, tight formation. Not going to call all my pairs against that. I turn a gut shot on table 1. Don't think my ace has that much showdown value. We're going to go ahead and can keep barreling and planning to follow through on the river here. If I hit an ace, I can value bet medium size. If I hit a 10, I can check back. If I hit a 9, I can value bet pot or overbet. And I'm blank, so I'll probably overbet bluff with a good blocker. Blocker to the straight with that 10 in my hand. Couple whales limp on table 3. Gonna isolate from my button with ace 9. They both limp call. Flop second pair top kicker on queen 9-3 two-tone. I do also have the 9 of diamonds in my hand for a smidge of extra equity there on 4 flush runouts. Get led into by a player who's been aggressive and donking quite a bit already. Only donked 1 out of 2 chances, not 2 out of 3. I'm going to go ahead and peel that once. 9 of diamonds on the turn, so his straight draws improved to either pairs or straights. His flush draws improved. He continues blasting. My 9 of diamonds not all that strong a card to have on a 4th diamond run out here with strength being shown from the sizings using. I mean, that sizing's not that big, but the flop sizing was. We're going to go ahead and fold that one. Gonna go ahead and squeeze with 8s in the big blind on table 2 here against the cutoff open. We'll just go with it against the short stack small blind player if he wants to get the money all in pre-flop. Calling would be okay with the 8s here also. Not going to call off against a jam here from the RFI player though, so I'll let that one go. You can probably take a break pretty soon here. Open king deuce suited from the cutoff on table 2. Squeeze opportunity on table 4. Middle position opens. And the cutoff calls, as does the button. Button's a confirmed direct with the short stack. The two guys are a little bit questionable. I'm in the big blind with 4-3 suited. Not going to 3-bet it, but could perhaps defend it for a call. I think that's what I'll do. Living clean, running pure, flopping the joint, 6-5 deuce two-tone. Checks through, however, and my good fortune has already begun to fade me as we now have a 4-straight board. I still have a straight, obviously, but the flush is also possible, and 7-8 is now the nut straight. I am going to go ahead and bet out small here. Multi-away with the 4 straight and the flush possible. I think a small size is going to be okay. River is the 5. I'm going to decide if I want to give this guy some rope to bluff with or if I should just put the money in myself. I think I'll check it. Table 2, I open the button with ace-queen. Big blind 3-bets me. I'll defend for a call. Great flop for ace-queen. Queen-8 deuce rainbow. As long as he doesn't have queens, kings, or aces. Or I suppose pocket 8s would not be out of the question. Continuation bets half pot. Gonna call that. Table 1 on the button, opening 4s. Jack on the turn, that board's getting more coordinated. 9-10 is now a possible straight. Queen, Jack, and Jacks just outdrew me. My hand is still strong, of course, however. He blasts again. Blasts 27 into 42. I'm going to continue calling with my top pair, top kicker. River Jack. Less worried about pocket Jacks, Queen, Jack at this point now. Table 4, get a king, jack, deuce, rainbow. Continuation bet small with the 4s. He calls. I'm going to go ahead and check back that rainbow completing 8 turn. Jams all in for about 70% of pot. Nothing to do here, but just call off with ace queen. I'm against 5-6 busted flush draw. My hand is good. Pocket 4s, my hand is not good against a pair of jacks on the flop, but it's okay. I won the big one. Opening king 9 suited from the cutoff on table 2. Opening 3s from the cutoff on table 4. Opening ace 10 for middle position on 2. It's 2 limper as ace. They could go either way. Certainly ISO it. I'm not as aggressive as I've been in the past with some of the more marginal ISOs, especially multi-way, a couple of guys out there. Flopping quads on table 4. Queen 3-3 two-tone board. I'll check to the in-position player. I've got a short stack wreck behind me as well. Flop checks around, turn is an offsuit 8. I'll start betting small here. If it checks to me, should the fish lead, I'll just flat call. Pretty much any size. Checks to me again, I'll go ahead and delay continuation bet the turn for a small size. Multi-way with the paired board. Seems like good to use a small size. Table 1, button open limps. I check my big blind with king deuce, jack 3, two-tone flop checks around. I'll go ahead and start bluffing here on the turn on an offsuit 5. Imposition players called me on table 4. I'm going to go ahead and block bet my 3s to allow him to bluff raise me, to allow him to call with his marginal pairs. He's obviously going to raise his nutted hands no matter what size I use if he's somehow got like pocket 8s or pocket 5s. Go ahead and just block bet with 3s. He reopens, I can come over the top, most likely jam. Hey, my plan so far looking good. Although if he has 8s or 5s, it does not because I did anything particularly insightful. We just coolered him, but he blasted me up for pot. That 3-bet all in. Table 1, opening 10-9 on the button. Recreational player calls the big blind. Get a jack 9-9 rainbow board. Gonna start sizing up and bet 3/4 here with my trips. He calls me quickly. Do I overbet here now, or do I just go 3/4? I'll overbet small. He rivered pocket 5s, so he was going to pay me off once he got to the river like that any which way. He called the overbet. Now, he leaves the river kind of small. I don't love that a backdoor flush hit. Nothing I'm terribly worried about that. I don't love that straights got there, even though I blocked them. None of this is me even remotely considering folding against that small bet, but I just don't know there's a ton of merit in raising. Although this guy is a total fish, so I think I can actually get called by enough Jack X here that it's going to justify doing something slightly on the aggressive side. I can still get crying called by Jack X here from a recreational player is why I'm doing this. This would not be standard against a thinking player, but this guy's 64-0, lots of limps, lots of donks, just kind of doing whatever. I also don't think he's going to use that sizing with full houses, sets and straights full houses, straights, or flushes very often. He does find the full, but I think my play is okay, trying to get greedy with the value against a fish. Table 1, open ace-queen for middle position, slightly larger size, with a new player posting a dead blind, who then 3-bets me. But I've got a hell of a bluff combination right here, even against a suspected fish. I'm not going to really 4-bet bluff very often. Ace-queen is kind of like my nut bluff combo. So I think I keep this one in play, and I actually put in the 4-bet bluff here. Calls me, get a king 7-7 rainbow board. I'm going to go ahead and continuation bet small. Pick that one up. It's got to be super scared of ace king. I like it. Things are going pretty good. Table 2, open an ace-3 from the button. Three bet. I will just fold. Got a 4 straight, 4 flush board out there. I've got second pair. I'm just going to try to check it down. Thinking I can check this down quite a bit. And he overbets 3x, 4x pot. I'll just go ahead and fold that one. Couple whales open limp on table 3. I'll isolate from my blind with ace jack. They both call me 6 deuce deuce rainbow. Multi-way, I'm not going to c-bet my ace high here. Is trying to just fold them up and pick up the pot. I'll just go ahead and check this. You can consider check calling smaller bets here at least once. If they start betting big or multi-way action, perhaps I just let the ace jack high go, but I'm not that worried about my hand being beat as of yet. Turn is a 9. Still has some shut-on by. I'm going to keep checking and see if I can get there on the cheap. Table 1, open jack 5 suited on the button. Stab 6, about a 30% of pot. The imposition player calls. You guys can both just have worse ace highs or draws here, so I'm going to go ahead and take that one more card for cheap. Try to check it around. River is a 4. I don't really think my hand is good here when they bet again, but when they bet literally the minimum 1 blind, I'm not folding ace high. Yeah, he had the 9, so be it, but he rivered a 4 for a pair. He had a flush draw and a gut shot. I think showing down there for $1 is trivial. Whale open limps table 3. I'll isolate the button with ace king. Open king queen in middle position on table 2. Big blind calls me 10-8-8 two-tone board. Table 1, open ace 7 suited in middle position. Go ahead and continuation bet on table 2. Table 3 on that 7-5-3 two-tone board. I'm going to continuation bet as well. Get called by a whale in position on table 1 and then clicked up from 2.5 to 5 by the button. I'll defend that. Price being so good here with ace 7 suited. Flop top pair weak kicker on ace 9-5 rainbow. I'm going to check and try to start keeping this pot small. Get donked into on the flush closer with no club in my hand, so I'm just going to go ahead and fold it. Get donked into with overcards. I think I'll go ahead and... This guy seems reggy and he's betting decent size. I'm going to fold that one. Table 4, I'll c-bet small to weak top pair on king 9-8 two-tone. Table 1, I'll check call with my weak top pair on ace 9-5. Good turn card for me. The 8 of spades giving me a gut shot and the nut flush draw. I definitely picked up some equity. He checks back the river. This guy's a fish. I think he can just kind of talk himself into calling with kings, queens, jacks, 10s. I'm going to block bet him here. Showdown on that ace 9 run out here. He instantly clicks me up, but he's betting so small. Or I bet so small. He is a fish. Can I really call here against that raise? So. Recreational player opens middle position on table 2. I 3-bet the small blind with king jack suited. Table 4, open an ace queen from middle position. My ace queen open gets 3-bet by the in position player. We're going to put in a 4-bet here. Stack off kings, aces, ace, king. Maybe not queens in this spot with us being about 50 blinds deeper than typical. — 4-bet gets through. Gotta love it. Table 2, Whale calls me, he checks to me out of his big blind on 7-4-3 two-tone. I see bet half pot, he check calls. Turn is the flush closing 8 of diamonds. I have no relevant diamond in my hand, but some overcards. Just going to check this back, try to hit a offsuit diamond, non-diamond, not an offsuit diamond, a non-diamond king or a jack, which I do. I can reopen for value. Go ahead and put that bet in now. It's a medium-sized three-quarter bet in that line in this situation. I take it down uncontested. Middle position player opens, table 2. I'll 3-bet the cutoff with Queen, Jack, suited. Recreational player cold calls to 3-bet out of the blinds. Because we didn't know he was a rec, we certainly know now. Interesting flop, 8-5 deuce two-tone. I've got 2 overcards and a flush draw here. I think I check this one back and not risk getting pot stuck against a pair here. Not that I'm in bad shape if it happens, but I'm going to go ahead and just play a little bit more perfectly against these guys. Check back the flop. Can flat turns if they lead into me. They do not. However, I can go ahead and start putting bets in now. Board pairing 8, probably line shouldn't make a ton of sense here against these guys, but I have a ton of equity here and can start to try to move them off the pot. River is a 5 double board pairing card. I don't really have much showdown value here. I really have to bluff him off of like an ace or a king high type hand. I guess I just outgrew counterfeited pocket pairs like 4s or 3s or like some kind of deuce with a weak kicker that doesn't play. Just go ahead and try to bully this guy off. My line makes no sense, but it doesn't have to when they don't know how to play poker. Table 1, opening 10-9 suited in middle position. Recreational player calls me, but I get squeezed out of the small blinds, so we'll just go ahead and lay this one down. Table 4, opening 4s in middle position. Table 2, opening 6s under the gun. Table 1, opening ace-10 under the gun. Get called by a whale in position. Gonna check to him with 6s on king 9-8. See here, is there really any... I don't really know that I can fold him off too many better hands by bluffing. I think I'll just check and try to keep this pot small. Not much merit in folding better hands here. And call smaller bets even. Good river for me, the king, in that he already beat me if he had the king. I'm just keep trying to check my 6s down here. Like queen 7. Maybe I can blow him off that by blasting turning river, but just don't know that it's worth it. Rec Min opens on about a half stack from middle position on table 2. I'll defend my big blind with 7-6 suited. Great flop for me. 10-6-3 two-tone, giving me second pair and the flush draw. He checks back. I'll continue checking on that blank deuce offsuit deuce. River is the king. Flush closing river, giving me the 7 high flush. At least with respect to the cards in my hands. I'll go ahead and value bet that one. He calls pretty quickly, and my hand is good. Table 4, recreational player open limps. I complete my small blind with 9-3 suited. Check the ace 9-4 two-tone flop. He called me on that river with Jack 9 high. Very interesting. Table 3, opening Queen 10 in middle position. I'm going to fold against the recreational player's full pot stab on the ace high board with my middle pair over there. Rec player calls my open on table 3 to the big blind, checks to me on Jack 7 deuce 2 tone. I'll continuation bet small. Got cards I can pick up equity on. The offsuit board pairing deuce, however, is not one of them. I think I'll just check this one back, reopen the river for value if I hit, bluff if I miss. River is an ace and he leads for half pot. I think I'll just go ahead and fold my queen high against a fish there. Table 1, open king 10 in middle position. Table 3, under the gun open, or middle position open, small blind fish calls. I'll complete or close the action and call the big blind with 4-3 suited. Get an 8-4-3 rainbow board, giving me a backdoor flush draw. Table 4, open ace 5 in the cutoff, slightly loose going after perceived weaker players. Get a pretty healthy size c-bet on table 3, but I will check call it with second pair in the back doors. Manifest the backdoor heart draw on that jack of hearts turn. Table 1 will check to the recreational player in position. Rex behind me and in front of me on king 8-5. King 8-5 two-tone. Turn is the 4 of hearts flush closing card. I'm going to start value betting here to use a small size here on that flush closing board, multi-way block bet. Get a second barrel here. I'm going to go ahead and call with my pair and my flush draw. Don't hit any of the cards I'm looking for, unfortunately. His queen's checked down good, but my hand is fine. Got plenty of equity, which I'm paying a fair price for. I get called by the out-of-position player. River is a great card for me. The board pairing king giving me trips. I think I can get called by weaker pairs here on that particular card. So that's exactly what I try to do with a medium-sized bet. Put the medium-sized bet in. He calls me. My hand is good. Rec limps to cutoff on table 3. I isolate the button with king queen. Probably with pocket 10. It's not an unreasonable bluff catching hand. 70 blind player open, table 2. I 3-bet the cutoff with jacks. My ISO raise gets limp called, get an 8-7-5 two-tone board. I'll c-bet half pot on that low board with king queen. I do have a club in my hand. Turn is the 3. I think I just want to keep barreling this guy here with the overcards, planning to follow through a third street on the river. Do have overcard equity to back me up. Table 2, my open gets clipped back from 2.5 to 4 by clearly a recreational player on 45-50 blinds. I'll defend queen 9 suited, go to the flop. Jack 5-3 rainbow board. Largely just check folding here. However, we check through and I turn top pair on a rainbow completing queen of hearts. I'll continue checking to give him a chance to start stabbing something goofy, or for me to just try to get one straight of value on the river. He, however, bets half pot on the turn. I will check call. River is a deuce. It does make some straights possible, but doesn't really change all that much. We're going to go ahead and check. He checks back. We showdown and chop against queen 9. Him with the offsuit variety. Whale open limps. Table 3, I isolate middle position with king 7 suited. Playing lots of hands with the whales. Give them a chance to splash their chips right into me. The other whale calls on the big blind. The limp caller calls as well. Got a little piece of that board. Jack 7, deuce, rainbow, and a backdoor flush draw. I'll go ahead and check back my medium strength hand. Turn is interesting as well. An 8, 8 of hearts giving me a backdoor flush draw. Plan to continue checking or calling bets if I'm bet into. Bet into 2 into 9. Very easy trivial call, which I shall make right here. Both players call, bang off the backdoor flush on that 4 of hearts river. Life is good. He leads again 2 into 14. I'm going to go ahead and just put in a medium-sized 3/4 value raise here. Whale open, limps table 1. Let's let the button with 10-7 suited. Short stack player opens blind down blind. I'll defend 7 suited for a call here because we're shorter instead of 3-betting it. Flop middle pair against 2 suspected weak players up here. King 7, 6, 2-tone. I'll check that back multi-way. Turn is a 9, giving me a gut shot to go with my now demoted 3rd pair. Table 2, small bet on Queen, Queen 3. Don't give a ton of credence to the small bet in the blind battle on this board, but my hand has absolutely nothing going for it whatsoever, so I'll let that one go. Small bet is allowed to work occasionally. My pair keeps getting demoted on table 1 as we keep checking around, and then the ace river now puts me down to 4th pair. Recreational player leads 3.5 into 9. Don't give that a ton of credit. Don't really have a hand that I can bluff catch with here. However, I do have good removal. You know, my hand is a little bit too weak to be considered a bluff catcher, but I do have good removal for bluff raising purposes, and I will attack that size. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the raise. Medium-sized 3/4 raise. Hey, that one gets through. What do you know? Table 3, cutoff opens. Looks like an actual reg for once in these $50 games here. I'm in the big blind with ace queen, so I'll be 3-betting him. Table 3. Table 1, middle position opens 3x. I'll 3-bet with aces. No brainer right there from the cutoff. Table 4, we're going to open ace 3, blind down blind. Table 4, going to 3-bet my button with queen 9 suited against the cutoff open. Table 3, going to check to the big blind with my weak top pair on ace jack 10. Position player stabs small. I'll go ahead and check call. Turn is a 4-liner straight, the offsuit queen. I've got pocket aces on king 10, 3, 2-tone. I'm going to go ahead and continuation bet my overpair in position. Against this turn stab over here, now that there's a 4-liner, I'm just going to fold my marginal top pair with no backdoors. Very happy to get the money in against this guy. A little bit dicey if this guy starts raising me. Turn card is bad for against this player right here, just because now he can have two pairs and straights on that queen. Hands like king, queen, ace, jack, jack 9 got there, pocket queens. I think I, however, can make the fish put his money in. So I'm going to go ahead and put the fish all in. Hate life if the reg raises me, but I think this is going to be a really good way to play this, and I can check back rivers unless they're really good for me. Table 3, I isolated the limper, who limp calls and then leads into me half pot multi-way and queen 6, 3, 2-tone. I'm going to go ahead and flat my jacks here, but not loving to put a lot of money in here against multi-street aggression. Fish calls off. Reg calls. River is a 4. I think I just go ahead and take my showdown here. Yeah, it was against King Queen, unfortunately. I played it all right. Really shouldn't be calling 3-bet with King Queen there. Table 3 do have a good situation there. Turn basically the nuts. Turn second set on that offsuit jack. I'm gonna go ahead and bet a 3/4 size here and try to start getting the rest of the money in on the river. Keep checking without a whole lot going for my hand over here. Make a full house. Now with that Queen River on table 3, just going to go ahead and put the rest of the money in. Slightly more than pot. Calls. My hand is good. He had Queen 10. New player 30 blinds post table 1. I'll limp my small blind, complete my small blind with 4s behind the poster. Flop a full house. 7-7 for rainbow. Whale tries to limp blind on blind, table 3. Not allowing that. Price of poker's going up, raising up with my ace jack. Gonna go ahead and start betting table 1. He overbet into me on Jack 7 deuce tooth, and I've also got the ace of diamonds. Just gonna go ahead and flat that in position, keep his bullshit in. Terrible river for my boat on table 1. Double paired board now, 9s and 7s. I guess I've got an underfool that as long as it doesn't have a 9 or a 7, my hand is good, but really can't value bet it anymore. Turn offsuit queen over here on table 3 after that weird limp call blind on blind line, then donk overbet. I'm just gonna go ahead and check back. River is the queen of diamonds. It does complete flushes, but otherwise my hand is pretty good. I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to get called by a worse jack here. I think that's very reasonable. Table 4, button opens. I'll 3-bet my small blind with king queen. Get a 9-5-5 rainbow board. I will go ahead and continuation bet. And pick up equity on 10s, jacks, queens, kings. Quite a few pretty decent cards for me here. Turn a king. Do I want to just dust this off, or do I want to sort of trap here? Pretty close. I don't really think he's going to have too much ace-king, so I think I can just go ahead and keep betting this. Just go bet here in this loose formation. Think I'd check weaker kings, but I think king, queen, ace-king, I'll just bet. Open ace-jack from middle position on table 3, and opening king-jack under the gun on table 1. Ace-king suited from the cutoff on table 3. River is a flush closing 3 of diamonds. I, however, am going to just stick with my plan. I do block with the queen of diamonds, just get it all in. He had the 9s flow along, so I was always in bad shape. What are you going to do? This one's fairly marginal, but call it because it's close. Pocket aces. They're hitting me a little bit now. Been hitting them plenty all day though. Start bluffing this limp pot over here on, whatchamacallit, table 3. Follow through on the river as well. Check call the 3 into 238 with my top 2 pair on the monotone board. Table 4, going to go ahead and 3-bet 8s against the middle position player. I think I just want to put the rest of the money in here with only a half pot left behind after I call. King 8 hand on table 2. King 5 with a spade. He got there with his spade. Yeah, all good. Whale open limps the button. I'll raise up out of my blind with King Jack suited. Hit a 10-9-5 two-tone board. I've got a gut shot 2 overcards. I'll go ahead and continuation bet that. Wreck whale 30 blinds open limps table 2. I'll raise out of the blinds with ace jack. Keep bluffing with my gut shot and overcards, semi-bluffing over here. Follow through on the river on that brick. Don't love that card for bluffing purposes, but I think it's going to be better than check folding, especially after using that smaller turn size to keep his range wide. That one works. Hey, some of my bullshit works. Table 2, opening 10s on the cutoff. Get a king, king, deuce rainbow board. I think it's going to be cool to check back here against the short stack. Let him start bluffing or start getting value after I underrep my hand. Double board pairing card, the deuce. I'm going to go ahead and put in the bet now with the pocket 10s. I can consider betting lots of rivers even. Trying to get ace high, getting too sticky and get too greedy streets of value off that wreck. Table 4, open ace deuce suited from the button, top and bottom pair, ace 6 deuce. Going to go ahead and put in a continuation bet. Table 2, open ace 6 suited under the gun. Recreational player calls me in position. Table 1, get a button open 2.5x. I'm in the small blind with King Jack. Gonna go ahead and 3-bet here. Table 4, open 6-5 suited in the cutoff. Got recreational players all around me, sandwiched in between on table 2. Gonna check range to him on 10-9 deuce. Table 1, my 3-bet gets called. Get an ace 7-4 monotone board. Gonna go ahead and check range on that monotone board. When he stabs half pot with no club in my hand, much equity at all, just go ahead and fold my king jack high. Table 2, it checks around, turn is a 6, giving me third pair. Get let into pretty strong 6 1/4 to 7.6. I'll just go ahead and fold for that size with that hand, especially multi-way. Recreational player open limps. New 30 blind player's got his dead money posted behind. I'll complete the small blind with 7-4 suited on table 3. Table 4 or table 2, I get to check in with queen 4. Keep checking my second pair on 8-4-3-8 double flush draw. River a 9. Keep trying to show it down. Table 1, open kings in the cutoff. Stabs over bet 5 into 230. I'll just go ahead and fold versus that. I'm not going to bluff four-handed on this board here against all these guys. Actually, yeah, I am. Table 1, not an ideal board for kings. Ace, jack, 6 rainbow. We'll see bet it small. The big blinds have anything. This big blind and the poster, and this guy's limping all kinds of hands. They got all kinds of air balls that will just fold with no equity. Tight player, 18-14 over 45 hands, opens 3x from his cutoff. I am in the big blind with ace-king. I'm going to treat this like a slightly tighter formation than it actually is because he's been opening like a tighter player. Of course, ace-king is still going to be a 3-bet. My kings gets check raised, which I obviously don't like. That's the bad outcome for kings in that spot, but it's so small that I am going to be floating it and taking a turn. Turn a deuce of spades, putting a backdoor flush draw up there. He continues barreling, so I'll fold the kings to the second barrel. Table 1, opening threes, or table 3 rather, opening pocket threes in middle position. Get 3-bet by an in-position player. In middle position, I can be calling my pairs against the standard size. So I'm going to call, take the flop, look for that third 3. Ace, king, 4 rainbow. Don't find it. We're just going to check fold the 3s on that board to essentially any bet. Standard 1/3-ish type size bet. I will fold to. On to the next hand. Couple Rex limp, small blind complete, so I'll check in with 9-8 suited. Flop the nuts straight, 7-6-5 two-tone. Gonna check, try to get a check raise in here. Table 4 opening king jack suited. And the cutoff, face of 3-bet, I'll defend that for a call. I didn't get my check raise going over here. Just check raise pot against the fish. No need to overthink it. Just start getting money in. Open king 10 suited, blind on table 1. Flop top 2 pair, king queen 6 rainbow on table 4. Go ahead and call that 2/3 continuation bet. Hope this board stays nice and blank for me. He checks to me. We've got about 2x pot left. I'm going to go ahead and stab half pot. Set me up for a 3/4 river jam. River is the queen, giving me the full house. I beat everything except the case kings at this point. He calls me down. My hand is obviously good. Opening ace jack from the cutoff on table 3. I was against ace king, so I outflopped him. Table 1, opening deuces on the button. My deuces get 3-bet by the small blind. It can defend my pairs here in this loose formation, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Go to the flop, looking for that third deuce. King, king, 4. Don't see it. Probably fold this one to any typical bet size. Defend the pairs. 5s or higher, of course. Some backdoor type draws. I think because I've got to worry about this hand being counterfeited by even the board pairing, double pairing, I think I actually am supposed to fold the under pairs on the paired board. I will let deuces go. Pretty dry board, though. Might even be some merit for bluff raising that one. Not completely sure. Kind of a tricky spot. I don't think folding is... Even if folding's wrong, I don't think it's too terribly wrong. Too bad a mistake. Table 4, open ace, queen, suited from the button. Get a 8-7 deuce rainbow board. Do have a backdoor flush draw. I'm going to go ahead and continuation bet half pot on that low board. Can pick up clubs and continue barreling. Or can turn a strong top pair with an ace or a queen and continue barreling there. Instead, none of that happens. I pick up the pot on the flop. Recreational player open limps and 17 blinds on table 3. I am going to isolate him here. A little bit dicey to isolate with connector, like middle connectors, like 8-10 suited when the guy's so short, but I think it's still going to be better than not doing it. Get 3-bet and the limper jams over the top. Maybe defend against the 3-better, though it's probably too loose. But against the jam over the top, I just got to go. Pocket 9s and ace jack. Pocket 9s flops a set. He would have certainly gotten me there, having made a pair, having made the pair on the turn when he made his set of 9s on the flop. Opening Jack 10 from middle position on table 4. Slightly loose to go after the weak players I see out there hanging around. Call by the button, the small blind and the big blind. Queen 5-4 rainbow. I'll be checking there. Can pick up equity. These cards would be like kings or 9s. Jacks or 10s, also pretty decent cards. Blind on blind from a player with reggy stats, but on a short stack. Opens 3x. I'll defend with ace 9. Go to that flop. 4-4 deuce two-tone with I do have the ace of spades in my hand. Pretty reasonable spot to float. He stabs small, so float's exactly what I'm going to do there. Ace high on a board where it's hard for people to have much of anything. I do have some backup equity too. Offsuit 7 turn, he continues barreling. I no longer feel nearly as good about this hand, so I'll let that go to the second bet. He opens from the button about 70 blinds deep. Plan to go with 9s plus ace king there if he plays back at me, and then 3-bet a bunch more hands like my suited broadways, ace queen. Pocket pairs around 7 or 8s or better. Table 2, opening queen 10 from the button. Table 4, opening, gonna complete the small blind with queen 4 suited after a wreck limps. Got a gut shot on table 2, king 9, 3, two-tone. Given these only 25 blinds deep, I'm gonna check it back. Turn is an interesting card. Second pair for me, queen of hearts. I've also got the gut shot and the flush draw back up there with that 10. I'm going to check this back again. River 4 flush. Now I can either bluff catch or value bet here. He checks all the way. I lose to the ace of hearts or the jack of hearts. I'm going to go ahead and value bet my third nut flush. Mash the pot button here on the 4 flush run out. He doesn't go for it. He folds. I pick up the pot. Three bet ace check, cutoff versus button, table 4. Squeeze aces, table 1. RFI player folds up, but the small blind player on the short stack calls behind me. Get a queen 9-8 rainbow board. He's got a little bit less than pot left. We're just going to jam it all in. Calls with king 7. Essentially no equity whatsoever. I pick up that pot. Table 2, open king 5 suited in middle position. Pick that one up pre-flop. Table 3, open ace queen. Middle position. Table 2, got an RFI under the gun, couple of callers in position. All the big blind closing the action with 7-5 suited. Recreational player on 16 blinds calls his big blind. I'll check against him on the short stack with my showdown value ace queen high on the 9-5 deuce rainbow board. Turns a 3 of clubs. I'll continue checking as he checks to me. River is the ace of clubs, closes the flush, puts a 4 straight out there. I am going to go ahead and try to get some greedy value here and just mash pot. He quickly folds, but I think my play is fine. I think I'm going to be bluffing like crazy there too. Going to open 7-6 suited under the gun on table 3. We'll probably cut the session pretty soon here as I've been going for a while. Games are good and I'm still feeling pretty good, but I've been at it for pretty close to 3 hours now. I usually play more like an hour and a half or so, 2 hours at most, but games were good and I felt pretty good, so I stretched it out a little bit. Either way, though, time for a break is coming. Open in 9s from the cutoff on table 2. Table 2, open king, queen under the gun. Recreational player 20 blinds deep calls me. Nitty reg 100 blinds deep calls the button as well. Go to the flop three-handed. Ace 4 3 two-toners. Go ahead and check. You can actually consider bluffing if this checks through on a lot of cards. I think I'm going to go ahead and just start bluffing here. I think this guy in position can have lots of pocket pairs that don't want to really stick around. Fish can have all kinds of bullshit. He hover jams over the top of me, so our plan doesn't go according to plan, but best laid plans. He flats. He may actually have a set of fives here. Set of threes. Tricky enough to check it back on the flop. Squeeze opportunity with the reg and a couple of wrecks starting from the cutoff. I'll go ahead and squeeze my ace queen. We're about a little bit deeper here, so I'm going to be stacking off queens plus ace king, but not jacks. However, now I can just get the money in against the short stack. He calls off with 7-6. He flops a draw. He turns the straight. But I got the money in ace queen high, way good, so I'm okay with that. $30 blind player post, 25 blind erect limps behind. I'll complete the small blind on table 3. Small blind versus cutoff 3-bet opportunity on table 2. Queen 9 suited, maybe a little on the loose side. I'm going to let that one go. Table 1, open an ace queen suited from the cutoff. Table 3, the big blind decided to isolate up, and I'll fold my king 9. The other players have already folded out. Yeah, I'm going to cut the session now. Video's been running for a little over 2 hours. Session itself is up close to 3 hours, up about 880 in EV adjusted profit, or I'm sorry, up about 880 in actual cash, up about just shy of 1200 EV adjusted profit. Not bad for a part of a day's work. I'll take it. Table 2, open an ace 6 on the button. Get a king queen 8 two-tone board. Plan to continuation bet this one small versus a check. He checks, so I go ahead and continue with my plan. He calls. Turn is a 6, board pairing 6. I think I'll just go ahead and check this one back. I blocked the backdoor ace high flush draw floats. That would be folding the turn. I don't have a whole lot in the way of equity going. I do have a showdown value against lower flush draws and straight draws. Turn is another brick, or river rather, is a brick in offsuit 3. He checks. Just take my showdown here. You got a queen. I don't know that I get into fold a queen at any point there. I think my line is okay. Table 1's all over. As is table 4. Last hand on table 3, Jack 10 suited. Gladly play that one. Table 2 is done, so the last hand is in action here on table 3. Short stack recreational player, small blinds, about 17 blinds left calls. I will check back against the short stack on the 4 deuce deuce board. Turn is the 7 of diamonds, gives me a flush draw. I'm going to go ahead and start semi-bluffing him now. Pick that one up. That's it. Fun session. Great results on that session. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, this is Charlie Murphy signing off.